Hey guys, welcome to my first very loud car video of us almost getting hit by a semi a few seconds ago. Basically what's happening right now is I completely neglected to make a video about this blaster, and even though to me I think it looks pretty cool, not specifically how I would have built it for myself, but the guy I'm giving it to really likes it, and that's what matters. So I'm just going to show this off a little bit, and I have other videos where I tested it, so I'll probably add those in a little bit later. The base of this is a Nerf Hera, which is a rival blaster. You know, it shoots the balls. I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this video, you know what a rival blaster is. And the guy I'm making it for has a Nerf team called Florida Foam Wars, and I considered putting that right there, but it would have been a lot better if I would have thought of that in the first place, because I could have like designed it into this, because this whole piece is 3D printed. It's all designed by me and took a few hours to make. I wouldn't say it was horribly hard to make, but it's got a little handle up here. I know usually some people use this as a handle, but that's not the handle anymore. This is, and I used the original piece that went in here to kind of as a filler piece, and all this is in with epoxy putty. It's like the two-part putty you mix together with your fingers. Like I said, this is all 3D printed, and it was kind of hard to make fit because apparently I'm not the best at designing things, so I had to sand a lot, and I should have definitely allowed for more of a tolerance, especially because I actually got it stuck in here because I just tried to crank. There was a screw right here. I just tried to crank it down and got it stuck, so I had to Dremel it out, and then I 3D printed this this cone right here, or this cylinder with a hole in it, and then I just literally took a bolt and used the metal epoxy putty instead of the plastic one to epoxy the bolt to this side of the shell. And then, so obviously when you put the blaster together, you can put that bolt on, and that's actually a lot stronger connection either way. And this is a really long, heavy 3D printed piece, so I know 3D prints aren't usually that heavy, but the more of it you have and the more infill you have, the heavier it gets. So that really helps keep it together and will prevent a breakage in the future. As you can see, all the accent pieces, like all these bolts or whatever you want to call them, and all these things, I painted all those silver. I painted in here red. I was going to use gold, but the gold I bought originally wasn't working too well, so I just went with the red because it looked good either way. Painted this little strip black on both sides. The battery covers, just like it came, as well as the handle and a few other pieces. I didn't paint it at all, just because I feel like if I painted this, it would just wear off anyways. Put my little YouTube name right there so people know who built it. The reason for the Hydra, I don't remember if I said this already, but it's for the guy I'm making it for. He really likes Hydra, and that's like his thing. He has a bunch of stuff with the Hydra symbol on it, so I just put my 3D printed one and put that on there for him. All these are gold, and they're supposed to be like, because this is supposed to be like a fusion rifle or a rail gun or whatever you want to call it. I'm just saying these are like part of the electrical components of the rail gun, and that's why I have 4 circuit boards in here on each side. The reason those are gold is the same reason this is gold. It's part of like the electrical components of either the fusion rifle or the railgun, whatever you want to call it. Probably noticed this, that's not usually on a Hera. Like I said, this is really heavy, and instead of having your arm up here and having this arm get really tired where you're like leaning down with it, I just decided to get a piece of 1/2 inch by 4 inch by 2 inch steel, 3D print some little L brackets, and epoxy them on, glue and epoxy them on, super glue. I use Gorilla Super Glue, which Gorilla Super Glue is what I use for most of this. If I didn't use epoxy, I use Gorilla Super Glue. It seems to stick pretty well and actually like melts the plastic. But as I was saying, I'm kind of rambling right now, but this is a solid piece of steel, and it weighs it out pretty good so that you have a good balance of front to back weight. It does make it overall heavier, but I feel like the overall heaviness is worth not having a front heavy blaster. You probably noticed this as well if you know what a Hera looks like, and you notice that this is not in place. That is on purpose because this is an adjustable stock. So this is all 3D printed, and I have a few internal pieces in here that I'll show you in a second. Just gotta unscrew. I put a thumb screw on this, by the way, so it'd be a lot easier to take this off. You can swap out batteries on the go. Speaking of batteries, this is actually modded out for a 3S LiPo. I didn't do anything to the motors except for solder 16 gauge wire on, but as you can see I have a MOSFET in here, and then I have an XT60 connector for the 3S LiPo, which fits really snugly down in there. This kind of really gets in the way, but it is what it is. It has to be like that. But yeah, back to the stock. This piece is kind of like a T I 3D printed, and how it works is this little rod is what keeps the stock in whatever position you want it. And you heard that little click, that's because there's a magnet in there. So there's a magnet on the end of this, and if we look at the other side, there's a magnet right there. This is another 3D printed piece. I cut a hole in the shell, and there's a magnet on the back side of that down in here. And you can see this T piece is all epoxy puttied in. Just like I said, I use epoxy putty for a lot of things. But if you want to see this in action, once you put it all the way on, it doesn't exactly come off too well, so I'm just going to leave it out for now. I don't want to have to wrestle this thing with two hands to try to get it off. I did sand a lot, but I guess I didn't sand enough. But either way, you can see this comes right out. And the guy said he wanted, it wasn't his design, but it was his idea. He wanted to do this. He said he wanted a 5-inch stock. So I figured make a 5-inch adjustable stock just in case that's not exactly what he wants. So each one of these is at a 1-inch mark, and you can put it, if you look in the back here, this is the back side of that T. This slides right into there, and you can put it, can't really see down in there, but you could put it, for example, like way out here, or you can put it right here. Obviously you can put it in one of 5 places. I just like keeping it right here because I already think this is long enough. I don't have really long arms. He does have longer arms, so that's why he wanted it like that. You see that popped right into place with the magnet. So like I said, I do have a few test videos of me shooting this, and I think I only have one of them with it painted, and it doesn't have all the paint on it. It just has the red right after I painted it. So maybe I can get a few videos from him, but the battery is actually in the back of my car right now, so I can't get to it, and obviously I don't want to shoot a rival round through the car while my girlfriend is driving, throw us off the highway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Painted on both sides, unlike Nerf. Nerf doesn't like doing that for some reason. They've gotten a little bit better with it on the newer blasters, but yeah.